720 Sierra, this is Steve in Lake City. It is Sunday, April 13th at 2:30 in the afternoon. I've been working since about 10 this morning. JR got here about 1. So you heard me in my last rant to Sling about their not labeling their instructions very well at all. And in the instructions it just says dimple these. And so I did, because when you look at it, it looks like a 3.2 millimeter hole, like all of these here, because I put copper clecos into them, so they were lined up right. But when I went to get the rivets out, these instructions call for a number 987, which is a 4 millimeter by 12 millimeter rivet, countersunk. And that they did not fit in there. But I had already dimpled this on the DT or whatever the heck it is. And then I had several hundred rivets in back here that I already put in, plus underneath. You saw me working on that. So I got to this and I went, hey, wait a minute, this is not 3.2 millimeter. It's 4 millimeter, but nothing fit. So I wrote to Sling Technical in South Africa. And I said, hey, what's the deal? Your instructions just say dimple, but they don't say what size to dimple in. And that's a major faux pas on Sling's part. I'm as pissed right now at Sling as the guys at Sling Caper are pissed at Sling for some of the stuff they've been dealing with for their airplane. And they're in South Africa. They're only a couple hundred miles from the factory, and they can't get it right over there. So I'm really pissed at Sling South Africa for the way that their instructions are. They do not say what size to dimple this. However, it does say in the KIA, which is this other little mat thing over here, right, that we got. But the last time I read it was like a year and a half ago. There is one paragraph in there that says, for the 4 millimeter rivets, you use the larger size of the 2 dimple die sets that Sling sends you. But it's not in the instructions, it's over here. So you got to go back and forth. And when I dimpled this weeks ago, I did not then go and say, oh, look, it's a 4 millimeter rivet, because I didn't look up the rivet size. It says dimple, so I dimpled it. And everything else on the dimpled on the back, everything else has been 3.2 millimeters, smaller die set. So I dimpled it, put it on, riveted all that, riveted underneath, and then I got to this and went, hey, wait a minute, what the hell? So I wrote to Sling in South Africa, and they said, well, we're going to have to send you new skins. And I had CC'd Sling and Torrance on when I'm writing to Sling Technical in South Africa, and so they said, hey, they actually called me last week sometime, and said, hey, what's going on? So I told them, and they had one of their builders on and the general manager in charge of the builder assist program. So I told him what was going on. He says, unfortunately, yeah, the instructions are not good. And so what he told me is, he sent me the link, but this is a dimple die set that I bought from ATS, Aircraft Tool Supply. I don't know if you can see this, but this is a set of dies, okay, that has a bolt through the middle with a hex on the front and just a nut on the back. So in order to do this, you now have to take the screw off, put the, let me show you one since JR said that. So you got the male die on the front, and then you got the female that you put through this bolt, 5/16 wrench, box wrench, and you put it on the back. And then with this, you tighten the die down a little further. And then you go to the next one and you do that, but you got to do this over and over and over again manually with this die set. And it is very slow. labor intensive, which is okay. I don't mind the labor intensive, but it's just kind of a pain in the butt. And I shouldn't have to do this. The instructions should have been better from Sling. This is just poor documentation on Sling's part. I love the pictures. They're great, lots of color. But when they just say dimple, they should say dimple 4.0 or dimple 3.2. How hard is that? Come on, Sling, get your act together. Get one of those guys in the office, get off their butts, and redo the instructions. I'm on instructions 8.3 over here for the fuselage, and that only came out a month or two ago. So that's the latest instructions, and it still does not say that in there. So that's bad documentation on Sling's part. So anyway, Torrance told me about this, and I ordered it from Aircraft Tool Supply. Of course, I had to wait for it to come in. And now I have to do each one of these manually. So I'm showing you how to do it. It does work. It's not quite as good as I would have liked. I would have expected these to be a little bit more powder sunk. This felt a lot better on the horizontal stabilizer and the rudder. So my fuselage is not going to look probably very great up in the front, but you know, it is what it is. So I just got through, I thought the video was rolling, so I just got through putting the rivets into this one stringer here. We expanded all the holes and drilled them out to 4 millimeter, and did each one of these holes manually. It takes a long time. So I still have this one to do, this one, and then the top up here. Up here, these all have to be done in the larger holes. So this is going to be hours and hours and hours and hours extra that I shouldn't have had to do because Sling didn't, their instructions are piss poor. So anyway, don't do that on your airplane. Make sure that you plan for the larger dimple die set for the front fuselage so you don't run into the same problem that I did. But if you did and you're already building, get this tool from Aircraft Tool Supply. All right, I was going to show you some dimpling. I thought I did, but the video wasn't running. So this one stringer has been put in. Now we're going to work on the next one, and I got to get up into the airplane to get onto this. We do this from the back, and it's just a pain in the butt. But it is what it is, and we'll deal with it. But I wanted to tell you what was going on. So in that last video, you saw my ramp. This is my second half of the ramp, but at least I got a way to fix it this time. But I'm not happy with Sling's documentation on that. So anyway, and if you can't find it on Aircraft Tool, let me know and I'll send you the link. But it is available in case you have the same problem that I did. Don't tear off the whole skin. I didn't want to do that. Drill out a couple hundred rivets, redo all the dimpling, which I needed to do, but then had to put in the new zinc chromate, line everything up, and it just, no, not worth it. So anyway, I wanted to let you know where we are. This row's in. As you can see, it's not quite as good as I would have liked, but it is what it is. So if you see me at Oshkosh or Sun and Fun, don't look too closely at the rivets in the front of my airplane. So the countersunk rivets. And if you do, and you see they're looking like crap, then you'll know what happened. It was Sling's fault. All right, November 720 Sierra. Please like, subscribe, and donate to our GoFundMe account. All right, we'll, and I'm not doing anything with the, I am not riveting in the firewall because I want to take the entire firewall out so we can work on a bunch of things, and I found some brackets and stuff that have got to go in there. So I'll have to take off the engine mount, which is fine. It's just there to rotisserie the airplane and hold it right now and move things around. So anyway, going to keep going on this. Just going to take way longer than I expected it to. And then I still have to do the verticals. Those haven't been put in, and I had to trace this out, but you have to put a rivet in here before you put this tray on because otherwise you can't get to it. And there's another one back here the same way. You can't rivet it in with this piece on. So, and then mark these out as Evan says in the video. So it's all that part's self-explanatory. But watch that video so you know how to take that part This has not been riveted in yet. It's just sitting here with plecos, but a lot of this has been. All right, guys, thanks. Chat with you later.